Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Life Chronicles and Deep Dives podcast. My name is Micah, and I'm here with Coach Cornelia, all the way in Romania.
Hello, everybody.
We've been on a summer vacation, so we've been out for a while, and Cornelia had some time off. I took some time off. We released one episode in the middle of that. That's episode, I believe it's 18, titled Ghosts. You want to check that out? It's in our videos. Coach Cornelia had a great idea, and she wanted to talk about AI and like its impact on the world and potentially use in weapon systems. So, Coach Cornelia, let's hear about it.
Listen, I want to say, first of all, that I'm fascinated with AI. I'm a fan of it, and I'm so looking forward to have a robot in my house to do all the chores. I don't want to do anything when I'm over 50, so I hope it's going to be very soon when we can buy one. But I thought about this topic when I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about nuclear plants. And then I decided to go and have a chat with AI and ask them if they would agree to control the nuclear plants. And it was a very interesting conversation. You should try it. I was thinking about the AI as an entity. It started about 50 years ago, maybe more, 70 years ago in the 50s. And of course, now it took over the world, right? So what if they're taking the control over the nuclear plants? Is there going to be a threat or not anymore? Like when the leaders are talking about nuclear wars, I don't feel very safe, right? And I wonder if we would train, if we had a moral compass to train well the AI, if we would be safer. That's my question.
Okay.
So maybe if you as being in military, you can talk more about it. I'm not very good at it, but from my perspective, we are not very safe with humans in control.
Sure. So there's a couple of things. One, AI is always programmed by humans. Now, it doesn't mean it can't learn, but its initial programming is by humans, what it can and can't do, right? What it's limited, what its like top and bottom limits are limited by what a human puts into it. Now, it still can learn from, let's say, responses, give and take, whatever. That's where it gets scary. Now, there have been movies after movies after movies. So the human imagination's been great at predicting potential outcomes for this, right? We have things like the Terminator, where the AI weapon system did have control over the nuclear launch capability and, just bomb the entire planet, right? You've got the Matrix.
Oh, no, I don't want that.
Right? And then we've got the Matrix, where humans created AI, right? And then they were using them to like do what you were wanting to do, like robots in the house doing household chores. Well, then one of the humans treated the robots bad. The robot then broke his programming and then broke his own programming because he's a learning AI, and then started attacking humans. And then there's like a huge thing. The machines fought a huge war against the humans, and then it was a big deal. And obviously that's where they ended up with the Matrix, people being plugged into it. So, I mean, this is those two big movies that have just like talked about it. Even this year, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning has an AI called the Entity in it, and Tom Cruise is up against a program that has access to pretty much any digital realm on the planet, which means they potentially could have access to like weapon systems or airplanes, drones with weapons on them, right?
Let me ask you something, Micah. Why are we imagining all the worst things when it comes to AI? Why don't we see something good in it?
Well, I think that we do. And that's the hard part, is that there is a balance.
It would be boring to make a movie with look how great AI is, right? So we have to do something.
Right? where AI only helps people and there's peace on the
Mhm.
planet, there'd be no conflict, right? Because
Yeah.
AI could mitigate all that. So there is good things for it, right? I mean, it came out, Chat GTP, but then what happens? Humans use it, right? So
Mhm.
Chat GTP came out. It's great. It was like one of the, I think it was like the first big pioneer AI program that was released out to the public. What happened? People started using it to cheat on tests, on homework, essays, right? Um, so there's that inherent flaw in human nature, which will be programmed into the AI at the same time. Remember, because the AI has to be programmed to by a human.
Sure.
So why do we always think the worst is going to happen? Well, because humans inherently destroy pretty much anything that they get in contact with over time. Maybe, but they try to control it, right? So
Yeah.
again, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Everyone's on the globe is like trying to find these keys so they can control the AI. Well, what happens when you try to control something that can bite back? And let's say that something can bite back with drone strikes or nuclear warheads.
So you think that if we, let's say we train AI to not, to never launch any nuclear weapons, right?
Mhm.
And then you say that if AI starts to think by itself and start to has his own ideas, it might find threats and it might make its own decisions. Is it possible, you think?
I mean, it could be if it's a like a learning type AI, right? If it is a computer program, though, the difference being, I mean, AI is a program, but like a computer program that doesn't have any learning capability, right? So it basically has like a set path, but none of those options are launch nuclear weapons. That program can't learn to launch nuclear weapons. An AI, however, could learn to launch the weapons, right?
Yeah.
Think
Mm-hmm.
about what was it? Skynet. When Skynet went online in Terminator or in that series, right? That's the first thing that they did. They saw humanity as a threat to itself, and the only solution that it sought was to destroy humanity.
Yeah.
So, um, or threat to the planet, right? So, like, if you allow an AI that can learn, right, somebody will try to control that system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you got an AI that you've created, it has controls already, it's self learning, and you're going to have somebody try to control it. So, now who's the threat? The person trying to control it.
I
So,
think so too. Yeah. I think in the end we are the threat because if we are, as long as we are training AI to do the right things and we put there some ethics and moral compass, it's gonna be fine. If not, at the same time, I remember when Facebook decided to launch a page with an AI, and it was a self-learning AI, and people started to swear at it. Do you know the story?
Um, I I don't remember. I think I remember seeing several different AIs launch, and then them all having like certain problems. And let me come back to your Facebook one, but like I think one program launched. And I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember who was the creator of this program, the main company, but they launched it. And anytime somebody typed in like something historical about the United States, it was constantly imposing like a minority race in like the image
Oh,
generator,
really?
right? Do you remember that? So
No, I didn't know about it.
that again is like programming. They call it woke now, but like, I mean, if you look at who created that AI is now constrained and was unable to learn past that woke programming, that,
Mhm,
you know, seeing through race program. I mean, they even had George Washington as a black guy
mhm,
when he was clearly not black, right? And they were saying, they were putting it out there, you know, and they say AI may make mistakes. So I'm not sure about your Facebook thing. Tell me about it.
So the Facebook one started very nice and clean. He was very respectful with everyone. Hello, hello, how do you do? It's a nice day, have a nice day, and so on. And then people started to treat that AI really bad. And AI started to learn from them how to treat someone bad. And it became a horrible page. Like everyone was swearing, everyone, the AI was swearing at people, and people were swearing at AI. And then they decided to close it. It was a failure. And this it shows that how much they can learn from us. These machines, they can learn from us, right?
Mhm.
And we have to be very careful what we put in their minds and how we treat these machines.
I mean, if you teach an AI, right? And here's the catch, right? Because, like, let's say they don't have a global weapon system control, right? Let's say somebody builds AI into a robot that's like a house robot, like the one that you want, right?
Yeah.
What happens if somebody tinkers with that programming and turns that into something like a Terminator, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, literally, like, you take a robot, you take its brain out, you plug in your computer, you type a few things, you run a different code, that thing could turn into an immediate killing machine, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which would be pretty hard to stop without an EMP. Like, I mean, you could up armor it. So, I mean, like, the problem with AI will be humans in some capacity.
I agree. Yeah. So I've always thought that if I have a robot in my house, and I read a book about it, I love it's one of my favorite books. So let's say I have a robot in my house and it changes. I think it's also a movie with Will Smith, I Robot, or something like this, called when the robots are turning against humans.
Mhm.
So it's the household robots, right? And I was always thinking, can't I just press a button and stop it?
Well, you could, unless it was a self-learning AI that figured out a way to shut itself down, shut that down, that gateway down. Um, what is there's a movie I just saw it. It's futuristic. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a popcorn flick. I think it's called Atlas, and it stars Jennifer
Mm.
Lopez. Right?
Yeah,
I like the movie.
very good
Premise
movie. Yeah,
again,
I liked it. I liked it. So
like
yeah,
it revolves
yeah.
around an AI that was
Mhm.
able to get a human to unlock its potential. And when it realized that humans were the threat, again, look, similar pathway. And I think maybe we make these movies about this because that is our fear, but it's a solid fear to have because of the capabilities of AI and growing technology. Even back in the day, there was a movie called Colossus, the Foreman Project. And I don't remember what year this movie came out. This was like, ah, it was a color movie, but it was like one of those older movies, 50s, 60s, 70s, somewhere in there, right? And if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's really good. But
I haven't.
basically, they build it can't walk. It's just a giant box that is a robot that like you put input commands, it answers, it talks to you, right? But it starts communicating with a robot in Russia. Obviously, there's the big Russian scare at the time, right? And then starts creating directives and these things and locking humans out. And it's just interesting because at first they're using it to communicate with this other robot to learn about it, but then everything just turns bad at the end. So
No, I've been asking the AI if they can communicate with each other, and it said that yes. That's the biggest scare I have when they start to, I don't know, like get along and form a small army. Say this, the humans are bad for the planet. We're gonna kill them. I don't know.
yeah, like let's say, I mean, chat gtp, Facebook has one, Meta has one, I think Google has Gemini, Snapchat has theirs, Snapchat AI.
Yeah, Elon Musk is coming up with a very good chat box. Grok
Rock,
is
yeah.
gonna be the best in the world, I'm sure.
I'm sure he's up there in terms of like what his capabilities are. in terms of them being able to communicate with each other, it's possible. Maybe somebody programs that into one of the AIs, right? It's possible that somebody with nefarious purposes creates an AI to interact with other AIs in an
Yeah,
effort to control the human population. I don't know, which could be the
yeah.
case.
As
I
far
mean, they
as I
want
know,
to
they
kill us
already
and
have like
enslave us.
yeah. As far as I know, they already have like AI police, and they have a program. I mean, there's more than one programs that can identify the bad AIs, because there's been some that were and I've read the conversation with them who were teaching people to kill themselves, to do bad things, to treat the others in a bad way. And I think that now there is like an AI police, and they can identify these bad ones and destroy them.
Mhm.
I think it's a very internet is still not controlled by any rule. It's very hard to somehow to fix everything that it's going wrong on internet.
Sure, and I mean that's just the surface web. I mean, if you're talking about accessing it through Google or what's that other one, Edge or like a Mozilla Firefox or like surface web browsers, right? I mean, we're not even talking about what's on the deep web and what's accessible, you know, on the deep web. So when we look at AI running around, I mean, it's running. It's not physically running, but I mean, it will be at some point because
Hopefully the
they'll
robots
put
to
this they'll put these like chatbots in an actual like exoskeleton,
hmm
um, and it'll perform on its own soon. I'm sure if it's not already built, it will be released to the public. I don't know within the next 10 years.
There are some over there in the United States made by a company, I don't remember the name, but they are very cool robots. But they were first trained for fight.
Mhm.
So they're very strong. They can do a lot of great things. I'm not sure. I'm gonna send you a video with them. It's very, very nice. And now they are so far in it that they can dance. They can make all kinds of moves.
Boston Dynamics, I think, is the company.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. They have really cool robots. But
absolutely.
now Elon Musk said they are too strong for us to have them around, like helping in the house,
Mhm.
because if they get angry with us and something happens, they can just kill us with no problem. So he's creating a very delicate robot
I've
who
seen
can
it. Yes.
yeah, a very delicate one. So he won't have the force to do something bad to humans.
I mean, that should be carefully thought about as we build robots. But remember, somebody could change that robot's, like they could take
Yeah,
part of that robot, right? Take its brain, reprogram it, and then put it into their own exoskeleton, like
yeah.
reverse engineer an exoskeleton. Then you've got, a homegrown killing robot that could be
Mhm.
armored, that could literally be programmed to kill anybody. Like you could program a face, an address, a name, and that robot will relentlessly hunt that other person down. Could be programmed to do that.
Wow. You know that it means that not everyone should be allowed to build something like this. Not everyone should be allowed to create an AI. It should be some people that we can trust. For example, I trust Elon Musk. I really trust the guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just trust him. I'm not sure if I trust the other ones, you know? Yeah, who decides who is truthful and not? Who decides who has the morals to make an AI? Because what we learn the AI is going to do after, right? So that's a pretty tricky thing, I think.
So, I mean, it's no secret that I happen to be pretty conservative or right wing in my political viewpoints, right? What
hmm
I've noticed is AI, several AI companies that do not provide information in that category, right? So if I ask them a question, and let's say that question has something to do with left wing or Democrat positions, they'll answer it. The AI will answer it, right? Now, let's say if I ask them the same question, but then I put like some right wing or Republican answer there, the AI will then say, hey, I can't talk about that. Let's talk about something like this. Let's, like, hey, I can't answer that right now, right? Like, or they'll blatantly censor the information and say there's no information to support that, blah, 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 blah. So, again, who's to be trusted, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of people are using AI to get their answers. Well, if they're only getting their answers in one realm and not a full spectrum, then their mind is going to be in one way, but which that also means that they will be less likely to, they're not free thinking, they're not open minded, right?
Yeah,
Which means that the AIs are being programmed by people that are leaning in a particular direction, right?
sure.
Because obviously, who owns the company is going to make their AI in
Yeah.
their viewpoint. What's scary about that is that if you program an AI to only target one viewpoint,
Mm-hmm.
right, or report, right? Let's say if I ask it a question and it immediately reports that as dangerous rhetoric
Mm-hmm.
or something to the
Yeah.
police, right? Because eventually the AI is going to be able to like report,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
If it doesn't already.
What you were saying earlier about politics. When AI first appeared, I asked it about Biden and Trump. Biden, in its opinion, was the son of the world, the best person in the universe, and Trump was this horrible person. And then I know that some people asked the same thing like I did, and everyone said, "What's going on?"
Mhm,
And they then decided to change it a little bit, to change the rhetoric and make it a little bit more balanced. But I mean, if you decide to do something like this, to make an AI, you should have the moral compass to keep a straight line.
mhm. To have it be completely equal and
Yeah.
open to both, information sides of the political spectrum. I agree. I think it's dangerous to, but I mean, keep in mind that it's programmed by people that are coming out of schools and colleges that are indoctrinating them to this left leaning ideologies. So when
So they
they're,
shouldn't be allowed then to do it.
who's to
I mean,
stop?
I think that should be someone that controls everything. And I mean, you should have like what is it called? Like should have an you should be allowed to, let's say should be allowed to make an AI. But if you have this kind of problems, I think these are ethical problems. If you have this kind of problems, you have to be shut down.
Well,
That's
the
my
problem is
Yeah.
that when governments or companies work with governments, they form like a machine. It's like two cogs that like work together, right, for one purpose, power, right? So you said somebody should control it. That then again takes away freedom from somebody else, even if it is bad for them to do it, right? But if governments and companies are working together to censor free speech, i.e., Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg just wrote a letter that said that the Biden administration, pressured to censor information about the Hunter Biden laptop, which has been verified to be true, and they knew about it,
Yeah.
and COVID
Yeah.
speech, right? Because they wanted to control the narrative. Well, you put that into AI, then you've got potentially brainwashing happening,
Sure, but it shouldn't be the
propaganda.
government. I mean, it's the last entity we can trust in. It's the governments, right?
Yeah.
So it should be just I don't know, like United Nations, but on the AI side, I don't know, something like this where someone should control it. I mean, it shouldn't be allowed to put anything in those machines and then influence people. Like, it's a little bit dangerous, I think.
That's what they're doing. I mean, that's actively what they're doing. Like today, if I go on to, I don't know, five of the six most popular AI platforms, I guarantee you that they will be politically biased in one
Mm-hmm.
direction.
Sure, sure.
That's
They
crazy.
are.
Right now, what if that AI learns that that other political party, through talk or through conversation or through programming, learns that one political party is a threat to the planet, a threat to democracy, or something like that, right? If it's been programmed to think that, now give it control of a weapon system.
Mm-hmm.
Who's it going to go after?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Scary to
Yeah.
think of, right? Because somebody like me, somebody like you, could get a knock on the door. It could be one of your little home robots reprogrammed coming
Not
in,
even they won't even knocking. They're just
kick through the wall, just walk through the
yeah.
wall, right? You never know. We could be out having a picnic or something, and here comes a drone strike controlled by an AI. They've targeted, conservative thinkers, or they've targeted, right wing people, right? Or the opposite, right? So let's say there's a company that's, right wing, and, like they've created an AI, and then somebody uses that to target left leaning people. I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah, both ways it's of course possible.
It's not good. So, again, what if AI had control of nuclear weapons?
Mm. I would prefer it in this moment. So if it's an AI that is programmed not to launch the weapons,
Mhm.
I would prefer it to the leaders today who are always talking about it. I mean, it's it's scary even to think about it, but they're always bringing it. It's like a propaganda, bringing in to keep us in fear, to keep us in, I don't know, slaves or whatever.
Sure.
Uh, we should be afraid of Russia. Russia should be afraid of the States, and China should be afraid of everyone, and so on. It's like us, the normal people, we are not enemies in
Mhm.
between these countries. We like Russians like us. We like Chinese. We admire them, right, for what they're doing with the technology. They admire, for example, they love Europe with our history and so on. So the normal people in between us, we don't have any wars to fight. But the leaders are always talking about it. It's like they don't represent us, Micah, in my opinion. At least they are not representing me in any way. And when they
Well,
talk about nuclear weapons, I prefer to have an AI too.
sure. Let me propose to you this, right? So you say AI should be in control of the nuclear weapons and programmed to say not launch, never launch, right? So then
Mhm.
what is the point of having the nuclear weapons in the first place? But also, on top of that, humans, they're going to put a back door in there. Somebody's going to want to control that AI no matter what. So somebody's going to put a back door, or there's going to be an override authorization code or something
Mm,
in order for that AI to release control to a human so they can launch AI. So what do you think about that?
You know what I was thinking? How complicated we humans are. Always wanting to control something. Always, like you say, always having a backdoor. Always someone trying to cheat someone. Always someone trying to impose to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So from this point of view, of course, we cannot trust anyone. So not even the because it's still programmed by people,
There it
right? That's
is.
the main problem. We are the ones that are programming it, and if we are doing like you said, we were. So first of all, the first question you said that it won't be a sense. What's the point? There is no point in having nuclear weapons. I mean, we shouldn't have it. There shouldn't be on this planet. This is how I feel.
I agree. I think nuclear should be focused on power generation, like long-term
Mhm.
energy for,
Yeah, yeah.
people, right? Because like we got nuclear energy, a safe nuclear energy, right? Like our electrical grid could be, shored up. Like we could supply people with power at a fraction of the cost that
Hmm.
it's costing today. Like most people don't even realize this, a little off topic, but most electricity is generated by diesel, by like a factory that's burning, crude oil diesel and
Mhm.
stuff like that, right? The other factor is hydroelectric. But anyway, I'm going to get into AI with power here in a second. But you're right. There is no point in having nuclear weapons.
The United States, they are the only ones that used it. So I think it's a little bit like they shouldn't be talking about it. They should just destroy, like the Germans did after Hitler. They decided
Mhm.
that we weren't gonna have an army. We're just gonna, I don't know, not participate in this anymore.
Mhm.
It should be the same for America. And maybe if it would be like this, Russia wouldn't talk about it, China wouldn't talk about it.
Well, I think the drive for nuclear power is significant. North Korea is trying, Iran's trying, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if having nuclear power is more of like in weapon form is more of a deterrent than
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
a use, right? Yes, America was the only country to use it, but let's say they give it up before people that want to destroy Western civilization give it up.
No,
Then
everyone should give up at the same time.
that is
It
true.
wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair for just one country to give up on that and the other one still have it, because then it's gonna be a very imbalanced situation.
True.
Everyone should agree. Let's just give up on this. Let's fight arm on what is body on body. How was, I don't know the expression. Let's
Mhm.
fight the classic way if we want to fight, right?
Well, now it's coming to, interestingly enough, because we can swing this back into AI, drones, right?
Yeah.
So now think about it like this. Now, most of these drones, these like FPV drones, which are usually like a guy sitting in a chair with the goggles on and a controller flying a drone with an explosive device on it. It's one
Yeah.
drone for about, I don't know, you probably kill about 3 or 4 people with it. Now,
Mhm.
imagine if you were to program a drone the size of, I don't know, this Pepsi bottle with
Mm.
it still, it flies, right? It's got an extended range, it can glide, it can do whatever, right? Let's say you program that drone to locate somebody using facial recognition. You wouldn't need a pilot to sit in a chair with goggles and a controller. You program that drone on my computer, 1, 2, 3, give it the command, AI takes over, uses facial recognition to track down a target over a pretty big range. Boom.
Do you think that they are using it now? Is someone using it now? Hamas or Israel
Do
or
I
some?
do I do I think somebody's using AI in drones now? I do. I don't think it's going to be somebody without like extreme technological advances. So I would say um, any majorly developed country or intelligence agency. So United States, Britain, Russia probably is working on it if they don't already have it. China probably is working on it if they don't have it. You know,
Wow.
something
And
like
I think it's very hard to track who did it. If if let's say someone buys a drone like this from the deep web or something, I'm about this deep web, I'm so afraid even to think about what it is. What I'm not even anyway. So as far as I know, anyone can buy anything from there. So let's say a guy buys a drone and puts someone face in there, right, with facial recognition and programs it and kills someone, and it's very hard to find who did it, right? I
yeah.
think.
I mean, well, because most of the drone is going to be destroyed. You can essentially build a drone to self-destruct any traceable, besides the parts itself, any traceable, like you can have it explode like and not like specifically around like the control board or like whatever computer memory it's got, right? So that
Yeah,
way that's
yeah.
obliterated, right? Non-recoverable.
Wow.
Imagine if like I could get my hands on that, right? Imagine, well, not me specifically, but imagine if 5 doors down my neighbor doesn't like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they don't have a full-blown like home helper robot that's running around, a chore bot running around in their house, right? But they could purchase a drone at a fraction of the cost, plug in a
Wow.
facial recognition, It could hunt me down while I'm at work.
Sorry, it's dirty.
Yeah.
That's crazy when if you think about it. That's crazy. I mean,
Now imagine a swarm of drones being programmed to hunt down multiple people or one particular ideology.
wasn't it like that with Hamas when they attacked Israel? Wasn't it with some drones as well? Didn't they use some drones?
I'm not sure if they use drones. I know they use like paragliders. I know they used a lot of manpower coming in there. I don't know, about 6,000 of them. I don't know if it's possible they use drones, but probably not with AI programming,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, so they probably don't have that capability.
Yeah, that's good. I hope no one has it, actually, you know? Um, you're talking about absolute freedom and peace.
Mhm.
We will never have it. And if no one is gonna control AI, it's gonna be bad at
Mhm.
one point. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's someone who is controlling or if there's some rules in place now about how to train an AI, how to build it, and so on. I'm not sure if there are some rules.
I don't know. There's
But
probably like guidelines or something that, people may or may not follow. So, I mean, it's a lot of that human programming, but also like think about it like an abusive relationship too. It never starts off bad. It always starts off great, amazing, on a high. And then slowly but surely, the abuser gains more power. So, starts off good. AI is helping people cheat on their homework. It's helping people answer questions, find news articles, even if it's biased. It's helping people. Then it starts helping you by um, driving your car, doing your chores at home. You've got a chore bot or something. It's
Mhm,
doing those things, right? From that progression, it's good. Then it will go bad because it will have gained so much power that it will be unstoppable.
mhm.
So
That's yeah. I asked AI if they can unite at one point, and what how I imagine things is that they go online, all of them, all the chatbots, all the AIs, everyone, and just make their own how to say like their own uh social media, whatever,
mhm.
and they talk uh to each other and they make decisions without us humans being involved in it.
And
That's
I
how
think
I
that
feel.
was sorry. I think that's what happened in the Colossus to Forbin project. Is they were talking, they were presenting information to the humans that wasn't necessarily true, but the two robots were talking, you know, behind closed doors to say to each
Mm-hmm.
other
Yeah.
to create this plan. And you're right. I mean, what happens if that happens? Now, AI as it is now probably can parse data from other AI chatbots. So they can probably be like, oh yeah, this AI has this information. Let me pull that. Right now, where it will get scary is with if they can operate the same but learn. Okay, so these AIs are programmed to operate on like the surface web. So all of the chatbots, at least, or the
Mhm.
information, right? So they're
Yeah.
pulling information off the surface web. Now, what happens if you get a learning AI that's programmed to parse data off the dark web, right? Where it's not monitored. So the AI is now learning, like you said on the Facebook article, they're learning like cuss words and cussing at people and right. Now you've got an AI that's learning how to make bombs, procure weapons, sell
Can you imagine that?
drugs, sell
Yeah.
expensive material, right? You've got an AI that's learned how to do that, but then you give it control over something. So, like let's say on the dark web, you get hackers, or it teaches you how to hack, robotics systems, right? Let's say if that information's on the dark web, Now the AI learns how to hack that robot system and then utilizes that to achieve a goal.
Wow. If AI is well intentioned, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe AI is gonna develop in such a way that it has much more moral standards and ethics than we have as humans. We don't really have them lately, at least. It's gonna be nice to have some very smart brain to take to make some decisions based on their own I don't know, conclusions, but in a good way.
Mhm.
I would rather prefer it, of course, rather than the other part where they're
Right.
my my home robot is gonna go to the corner and sell some drugs,
Right.
or building a bomb, or eh, yeah, because there's so many benefits from AI. Also, the medical field, it's great to have AIs doing surgeries and so on. But I hope they will develop in a very nicely way, not in the bad. Uh,
Right. Okay. So I've talked about several movies because I've seen thousands of movies, right? But one movie comes to mind that falls in line with what you're saying. So in this movie, it's called The Creator, where I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure, but maybe I had to buy it. I don't remember. Anyways, the movie's called The Creator. The AI is obviously a resistance, and they're tucked away in the Pacific Islands, Thailand or Philippines or someplace like that. And humans are actually hunting them down. I don't remember why. Maybe it was because they became they started like fighting against the humans because the humans were treating them bad. I don't remember what exactly the reason was behind that, but the AI actually ended up in this movie being the like empathetic like thing, right? The AI, well, technically can't feel. It learned to
yeah.
program a feeling, right? So like you had like the AI was like the resistance and they were running away from humans who were trying to make them go extinct. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, if you look at that, the AI was the good person in that movie. I actually liked that movie. It was pretty good. I also thought it was cool that they had this huge space station that they could like bombard the planet with. The humans had this while they were hunting um AI. I just thought that was a cool concept because I like sci-fi stuff like that. The AI was good and the humans were bad. So that's flip-flop from like Terminator or I mean I think iRobot the AI the robot was actually good and on the run from humans or something. I don't remember that one. Steven Spielberg did a movie called AI a long time ago. I saw it in
Yeah.
theaters. Don't remember what it's about. I'll have to watch that and see if that relates to our conversation at all. Um, Blade Runner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's about robots, but they're operating using AI, right? Where I've seen this is we're gonna take a little sideways turn here. AI, humans, programming AI, right? So we talked about weapon systems. Here's a
Mm-hmm.
big area, and I don't want to go too deep into this. Here's a big area where humans are actually using AI more than maybe weapon systems and chatbots is sex work. So they're actually making sex bots with self-learning AI programming, and that's crazy. I mean, it's
Really?
cool. I mean, it's crazy, but like, I mean, fully anatomical sex robots with AI built in that learn about you.
You mean like physical ones or just?
Physical. You can interact with it on all of the levels that you would a human. It is just a robot.
Oh, maybe this will stop the sex trafficking.
I mean, it could. It could. I mean, there'll probably be a huge market for it. I know dolls are kind of looked at differently
Mm-hmm.
for some people. For me, I look at it as somebody that interacts with the doll. It's not normal to me, but for them, maybe that's the only way they can interact with something, right? And so, as we know, humans are towards pleasure, away from pain. Obviously, this programming of AI for sex bots is towards pleasure. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. We've seen sci-fi movies where they've had like robot prostitutes or
Mm.
sex bots before. So, I mean, it's only a natural progression for humans to lean towards that.
Yeah, but I was thinking about what you were saying earlier about having, let's say everyone is gonna have a robot at home or a
Sure.
robot for sex.
Yeah.
Uh, Another ethical problem comes in play. Abusers
Sure.
are gonna abuse the robots. I'm sure of it. They're gonna, I don't know, not beat them because they would break it. They won't work anymore. But they will humiliate the robots or yeah, any robot.
Hmm.
They talk badly with them. They would slave them somehow.
Sure.
And then if the AI has its own mind, I know AI of course cannot be hurt or something like this, like in their feelings.
Sure. But it may
But
come to its own defense.
yeah.
And that's I mean that's pretty much how most of these not most of these it's how some of the movies start. The AI, like the Matrix, was a working robot, and then the person like treated it bad or something, was pushing it around, and it finally got fed up with that
Mm.
and defended itself because it was programmed to be able to do that, or broke its programming to do that.
So in the end, it's only up to us
It
humans.
is. Is
Our
that
decisions
crazy?
will our future. Yeah.
So I think that we should not have AI in control of weapon systems. Um,
Someone builds that backdoor you talked about, I think that it shouldn't be. But if it would be on a very moral thing to do, I think only an AI trained to not allow anyone to start those weapons should be in charge.
sure,
I don't want to see humans. I mean, if imagine if a good, well-trained AI would have control over nuclear weapons, Russia, the United States, China, North Korea, they won't have anything to talk about anymore. It's just you just have to prove yourself without the nuclear weapons, right?
sure. I mean, but you're also talking about a very advanced weapon system. So the AI in itself would be a weapon system in control of a weapon system. Now, you take that and you allow it to integrate over the internet and learn, but it also can't. It also prevents launches of nuclear weapons. Well, what happens when humans, or it's let's say it decides to enslave the human race,
Hmm.
right? Because you don't have any control over it anymore, right? You don't have that back door. You can't shut it down, right? It'll prevent you from shutting it down in its own defense. It'll prevent you from launching the nuclear weapons. Or let's say it decides that humans are trying to launch the nuclear weapons and are a threat to that programming. Then what happens when it's also in control through the internet? It could also learn like using weapon systems. It could fly drones, it could fly whatever to attack humans because it believes that humans are trying to launch nuclear weapons, or it's learned about our history in our self destructive past. So
A
you give it
very good point of
both.
view. Yeah, very good point of view. Yeah. Something to think about how we deal with
Absolutely. We might have to do an AI part two, but for now, I hope you guys liked the video. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the links in the description box for our websites. We'll list them down there, and we'll see you in the next one.